We need like what's the ESPN ticker with this podcast starts where it has cameras, stage lights that go up and down, smoke that comes in.
Right,
Jack, get on that.
We need some bubbles. I'd like some bubbles too, please.
I'll add it to the list.
Third episode, and we're not quite up to standard, but we have made some strides here around Minty Gym to make things a little bit more streamlined. So hopefully you guys will notice. Jack's got some new tools here today. I made him spend my money to go get some.
Baby.
No, he got some new tools. Jack did some homework this weekend.
Welcome to the Minty Road Podcast, Episode 3. I'm Kraus. This is my co-host, Travis. And
What's up, y'all?
Captain Jack.
That's good.
Jack's on screen today.
Jack's on screen.
I told you we made upgrades.
Okay.
It's incremental improvement each day, every day.
Does the little avatar go away?
Yeah, the little beanie guy's gonna go away. So, unfortunately, I know a lot of you guys were pretty hooked on him as soon as he came around, but he may come back in the future. We'll see if we have like some speed run.
He's even got picture in picture now.
Yeah.
We got all three faces on screen at the same time. Are you doing the automatic audio switching, or are you doing it manually still?
So today we are doing manual because I'm just that good.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get some practice in with it. But so far, so good. Everything's switching pretty clean. I don't have any issues, and it looks like we're gonna have a great show.
Yeah.
So on the agenda today, we're going to talk market shifts, and then we're going to spend a little time on the card game meta. There was a regional this past weekend, and then time allowing, a couple fun things. We want to talk about perfect order, and then a couple surprise things at the end.
I do want to share some news also with people. Stay tuned for this. I got a call from one of our biggest distributors, one of the ones that we spend the most money with, and they shared some news with me on some print allocation changes that are happening for some products. They got confirmation that certain products are going to have a decreased supply. Other products are going to be more heavily printed. And they were giving me a heads up that when we get our allocation numbers for perfect order, we're going to see that and feel that. And so, stay tuned.
We'll talk about that later. Don't skip to the end. Okay, so last week we established that Travis looks a lot at the data before coming to conclusions. Generally speaking, people can have opinions and think things and try to figure things out. We can have great conversations there, but you can't really come to decisions without looking at the data. And so we've been able to establish a pretty healthy amount of data specifically on the top 1,000-ish cards in the last 6 or 7 years, going all the way back to Sun and Moon. So, Trav, help us out there. What do you see moving? What do you see not moving? What's your take on the market?
Yeah. So right now, pretty much far and away, what's still happening is that market price is going down for probably 95% of all of the in-demand popular cards that people would collect today. And so you just basically have more volume, more inventory available, more sellers trying to liquidate, and it's really caused by less sales velocity, less demand for the card itself. So, one of the things, think about it this way. More people are trying to sell their card than people are trying to buy it. They are now competing with each other to become the lowest listed price on TCG Player, which is pretty much the proxy for what market price is. As a result of that competitive nature of listings, listing price is going lower and lower and lower. The good news, if you're a collector and you have a portfolio of products, is that it takes a long time for market price to tank on TCG Player. This is due to the incremental nature of how TCG Player basically only has card listings that go down a penny in increments. Josh, try to explain that to the viewer so that they understand how updating TCG Player works. Like why all of a sudden if market price is $10 cheaper on a $20 card, why doesn't it just fall $10 tomorrow?
Yeah, so the reason that happens is TCG Player uses a couple different formulas to calculate the market price. It's something based on the velocity. It's also something based on the transaction price. So if one card sells every week and you have a significant difference in that price value and it sells, it's going to tank the market price, but it's going to take a week, could take 3 weeks, depending on if the algorithm thinks that, if the calculation thinks that it's an outlier. So it's a running average of the past transactional sales. So if you have a card that is selling at a high velocity, where it is selling 30 a day, then the price of that, if you wanted to liquidate it, you've got to consistently update it. You've got to be the cheapest listing.
Talking as if you're the seller now.
As the seller, yes. Yeah. It's TCG Player is owned by eBay, but it is not eBay. So I want to make sure everybody's aware of that. This isn't a marketplace where you can go find a card and then see a bunch of different sellers for that card as a buyer. You don't see a bunch of different prices lower. What ends up happening is you find the card on TCG Player. All of the sellers are listed there, and generally speaking, if you are the lowest listed, that card you will sell that card as the seller. And
when you compete, so if I have 100 copies of a card and I'm trying to sell my card tomorrow, I'm not going to set the sale price 20% lower than the other lowest listed. So the point I was trying to make is that we have a downward market where 95% of all the cards that we track from Sun and Moon base set all the way up today, the last 7 years of cards, 95% of them are on this downward swing. But the reason why, if you're a collector, your portfolio is not going to crash 50% tomorrow.
Correct.
And that's because the severity of lowest listing is normally only going to change a penny. So if it's $20 right now, if Josh, different seller, wants to beat me and get that next sale, he's going to list his card at $19.99. And then I'm going to see it an hour later and say, no, I want to make the sale. I'm going to list mine at $19.98. So the benefit that we have in this downward pressure market where all the cards are, 95% of them are lower, is that the severity of the market price changes. It's not like that we're going to have this huge collapse tomorrow. It is collapsing, it is going down, but it's just going down very slowly, death by 1,000 cuts over time. And I think we've got some examples to kind of give everybody to kind of walk them through this happening in the opposite direction. So it's one thing for us to say, hey, 95% of them are going down. Let's talk about the ones that are going up, because the ones that are going up are kind of the outliers amongst all the cards that are going down. There are some bright spots here in the hobby of cards that are going up. So we're going to talk about the few that are going up.
Yeah, let me just jump in real quick. Let me change my hat. Class, pay attention. This is just basic economics. Trav mentioned it. If supply is high and demand is low, the only part of the curve here that you can to liquidate is you decrease price. That's how it happens. When supply is low and demand is high, then price will also be high. In the midst of that, just as Trav was talking about, we're not talking about a velocity of 1 million cards, a million of Mega Charizards being sold every day. So that price drop is slow. The other piece here from a simple class economics standpoint is the market is what someone will pay for the card. The market is never wrong. So if TCG Player gives you the data to know what the last sold was, how many have sold this average daily, how many have sold in the last 3 months, etc. So when you're a seller and you're trying to sell a card and the market price says $28, making it up, but the last sold was for $32, you're not listing it at $28, you're listing it at $32 because it's only a matter of time until you sell it. So you'd rather capture that $4 incremental margin. On the flip of that, if the market price says 28, but last sold was $27.97 and current listed is $27.97, you're going to list it for $27.96. Some basic economics that you probably slept through in high school or college that have real impact inside of this hobby. So
So let's walk them through an example just so they can kind of see what it is that we're talking about. So,
which one are you
Jack,
looking at?
you able to pull up for us the Mega Charizard SIR? Are we prepared for that?
I can do that post edit. We had some issues with the website.
Okay. Okay. All right. So in the future, next episode, we'll be getting some real-time screen shares on the laptop here. Take this state-of-the-art. Otherwise, Jack's fired. I'm just completely joking.
So wait a minute. In my defense, the capability of 18 USB ports into one box just to kind of overheat and complicate things. I just want to throw that out there. But.
The thing about me is Jack doesn't know if I'm joking or serious. I am joking on this one, but a little bit he could be like, no, Travis is serious. No, I'm
it's a form of self-preservation.
I'm joking.
To always consider that you're not joking, and that's just
no, I'm just joking. All right, so we're going to pull up. So he's going to put it up post-edit. It's going to feel seamless for you guys. Mega Charizard SIR from Phantasmal Flames. Real popular one. You know, this is one actually that we talked a little bit about last week. Market price was super high out the gate. I remember 14, 15, 1600 a week before release. And I probably haven't seen a card that had more hype and then market price just tanked relative to that hype, but in the grand scheme of things,
it's such a small set, right?
Yes,
because there's only 6 SIRs total in the set.
Yeah.
5 if one's a promo, right?
Yeah.
So to see an SIR like Charizard in a set this small, compared to like Obsidian Flames Charizard, which is the same size set with only 4 or 5 SIRs, that Charizard we saw just kind of tank versus this one going through the roof.
But the market has really stabilized. It's one of the ones that when did this set drop?
November
17th?
14th.
14th.
Oh, 14th.
Yeah.
Okay. So normally, and this is probably true like 95% of the time, 6 weeks, 8 weeks after release, the chase cards will be lower than what they were on release week. This one is starting to climb back up. This one's starting to stabilize, and it's starting to be one of the few bright spots. There's about 5 cards that really market price are trending higher than what all the other ones are doing. Phantasmal Flames here, Charizard SIR, current market price as of today, near mint, hollow foil, 603, and the lowest listed right now is 605. Caveat here, there is only one listing at 605 for near mint. The next lowest listing is 637. And so you've got a $32 spread between the cheapest buy it now, lowest listed on TCG, and the second highest. So as soon as the 605 listing sells, okay, market price is going to be 637. I would probably about a week after we record. So we record on Tuesdays. Jack puts this out on Fridays. Maybe even market price will be updated by Friday. I expect this 603 near mint market price to go up to the mid 620s. So we'll see. We'll see exactly. We'll track it. We'll see what happens. But
so last week, you nailed it with the gold Charizard because I went and looked the very next day in post edit, and it had gone up. It was at 326 when we recorded. The very next day, it was up to 344.
Yep.
So just like you said tomorrow it's going to be starting to climb.
And this is something that you just kind of be aware of. Like if you're trying to be a savvy and shrewd investor in what cards to invest in, you want to sell at the right time. You also want to buy at the right time. Pretty cliche, but it's really true. But in scenarios like this, if you've got that Charizard card, you want to kind of have somewhat of an awareness of when you should sell. So if you wanted to list your card right now, you are competing with this guy, this EPTCG store.
Calling people out.
Well, and it's fine. It's fine. It's public information. They're lowest listed. They're lowest listed at 605. If you want to sell that card tomorrow, you got to be 604.99. Most of the time, a buyer is going to buy the lowest listed available. It's just human nature. There's not a whole lot of loyalty in terms of what store you buy from on TCG.
It's transactional, 100%.
Yeah, very transactional. Should you list your card right now, or why don't you wait? This card has an average daily sale velocity of 6 sales a day. That's the average over 3 months. So even maybe before this show is out, we keep refreshing the page, this listing might be gone. And so do you want to list it right now today, or do you want to wait for this EPTCG store sale to go where you list it at $630, $699?
Yep.
Just wait an 5 hours, and then you can make 30 more bucks.
So there's another flip to this based on what we talked about in episode 1 and market cap and velocity, right? That is applicable here. As of this data, right? Which by the time you see it, it could be outdated. If you had 29 grand, you could buy all of them.
Yes, that's another big thing. Talking about the sales velocity versus the total number of listed units available. And this really speaks to the heart on collector buyouts, TCG buyouts, market manipulation. There is a little bit of shrewdness when you look at large data. When you're looking at 1,000 cards, there are opportunities with dollars to invest dollars in to say which card strategically should I buy if I want to buy, hold, and sell tomorrow. So to Josh's point, walk us through that number. How is it that amount of capital can move the market by that much?
So you look at once again on TCG Player, there's 50 that are currently available, right?
42 sellers, 50.
Right? 50 available,
50
42
quantity.
sellers. If you buy all of them, just average math of 603, right? You're somewhere close to that $30,000-ish number. 28 grand was the number that I came up with just doing simple math. And so then that allows you to buy the entire inventory. Now, as you look at this information, and I've snapshotted it so I can share it with Jack, so it's relevant to the moment that we're in right now. The average daily sold is 6. Trav, there's 50 currently available. If you sell 6 a day, how many days until you run out of inventory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 8.5 days, right?
Right. But if you keep checking this, there's going to be new sellers that list tomorrow.
Yep.
And so back to the core issue here is that demand for this card is outpacing supply. So there's not as many sellers adding new incremental inventory as the actual sales are happening. And so in this case, how many days of inventory do we have?
8.
We have 8 days of inventory on this one card. If we check 8 days from now, we're still going to have 7 days of inventory.
Correct.
And so you're trying to track over time whether or not new sellers are being added to the mix faster than cards are being liquidated. And if the answer is no, price goes up. If the answer is yes, more new sellers are being added, price goes down. So the reverse of this, let's talk about the reverse of this on an example where market price is having pretty good downward pressure. What card was it that we said? It was the Raikou from Galarian Gallery.
The Raikou V from Galarian Gallery. So currently, market price is $30.82. Most recent sale is $32.99. So those are both positive. That's a positive thing if you're a seller. There's 141 listed.
Exactly.
But
what's the big issue with this one?
Velocity.
Sales velocity is terrible on this card. Demand's not there right now.
It's real bad. Only one. Let's see. You have to go back to before Halloween. Somewhere 26th, 27th, and 28th of October, 3 of them sold. And so that last sold of $32.99 was back in October. The world's a little bit different.
This is so weird to me too. It's almost making me think that there might be a bug on the data. Like, how has this card not sold any since that time period? But there's currently 141 near mint available across 103 sellers. And as a result of no sales velocity more recently, the price is going down. And so the lowest listed, this is probably the best example because market price is still showing $34.96. Why is market price on TCG Player not reflected of the lowest listing?
Because there's no transaction.
There's no sales.
Yeah.
Perfect. Bingo. Because there is no sales on this card, TCG Player cannot confidently update their market price for this card. So this is a scenario. And we talk about it today as card shop. So when people walk into our card shop and they want to trade cards in, we got to take lowest listing price into account on the comps that we give. Here's a great example that market price for TCG Player shows $35. The lowest near mint listing as of right now is $26.55. Now, on that listing, they want more shipping cost.
Sure.
But the point is that we've got more than a 10% spread between lowest listing price and market price on a card that hasn't sold a single copy in over 2 months. So the market price on this card is going to continue to go down. And as soon as there's a sale, as soon as somebody starts buying this, a week from now, this card's going to see a 10% decrease in market price.
Correct.
Yep.
Now, what's interesting here, TCG Player is not the only place for you to secure cards raw, right? Outside of pulling them out of a pack, I think a pack of Crown Zenith right now is 15, 16, 17 bucks. So TCG Player is not the only place. You can go to eBay. And what's interesting is on eBay, you've got 3 sold already reported today. You have 5 sold yesterday, and you've got another 5 sold the day before. So the market,
What prices?
that's the low. It'll be an average, but the low is 23 and the high is 35.
Yeah.
So
And generally, this is kind of a whole separate segment. We'll talk about this maybe a different show, but the principle that I've seen is that when you compare eBay comps to TCG Player, you can't, it's not a one-for-one correlation in terms of what's the most accurate comp. TCG Players buy it now on demand. There's no time required from a consumer having to buy a card right now on demand. Naturally, I would expect the price to be higher on a buy it now platform than a auction-based platform like eBay. Because auction is that you've got to put a bid in, you got to wait for it to sell, and you got to be at the right place at the right time. If I wanted to secure that Raikou for a $5 discount, there's 5 that sold today, but I mean, I've got to be there putting bids in. And so generally speaking, you're going to see a lower price securement on a auction.
but the point I was trying to make was TCG Player doesn't have a stranglehold on sales.
Yeah.
And there's other platforms. And it's interesting, once again, for this specific card, that one platform has had one sale
Yep.
in 3 months. This platform has had 10 in the last 3 days. So there's a market for this card. It does have value. The value is somewhere north of 20 and less than 40. And so nailing that price down, once again, comes back to what is someone willing to pay? What does someone see the value of it?
Yeah.
And what the seller is worth releasing the card for, even though TCG Player says there's no market data because it hasn't sold.
Yeah. So let's shift gears
Yep.
and rapid fire go through the other 4 cards that were the positive bright spots.
Yep.
We talked about the one.
Okay, so
Mega Charizard is going up. It had a low, back to that one, and just it had a low in the 420 to 498 range. Third week of December, it's back up to that 650. Had about a $200 rebound.
Yep.
So pretty good. The other 4 bright spots that we saw were
So let's go in release order backwards. The next one is Team Rocket's Mewtwo SIR from Destin Rivals 231. The current market price on it is $388.26.
collapsed big time. It's high 500,
Yep.
$600 range back in October. That one's down pretty good.
But it looks like we're in a situation where the price is still decreasing, but we may have reached an area where supply is no longer outpacing demand.
It's
Because
kind of
it's turned.
flatlining because if you look at the daily sales velocity on that one, the last month you've had kind of a little bit of a spike on sales velocity.
Yep.
And so we're selling. It's saying average daily sold of 2 over the last 3 months, but we've actually got in the last 3 days 9 sold, 5 sold. I think this one is a prime target if you're an investor and you're looking to put money in. Mike, we don't normally invest that heavy on single cards to hold. I try to keep 2 or 3 in stock here at the shop. I only have, in the 2 years that I've been running the shop, there's only 2 cards that I put like 50 copies of back. And one of them is we had to break down a bunch of Surge and Spark ETBs for energy breaks and loose packs here for the shop. And so the Magneton promo, I got a boatload of those. And what was the other one? I got, the Victinis from the, those are only 2 cards that we've really invested that we kind of are sitting on for the future. But this one, I mean, if we had $10,000 of money to just kind of setting aside, especially when you consider probably the arbitrage on a PSA 10.
Yeah. Arbitrage is probably high here.
Yeah.
Okay, so another one is 2 out of the same set of Prismatic. One is the Terapagos EX number 169, the special illustration rare there.
Which I would not have expected that one.
Well,
Master set, people trying to complete master
or
sets.
or playability. It's seen a resurgence in a couple decks because of its Terra ability and its relatively ease to go in a couple different
They
decks.
had a day between January 6th and 8th, 17 of these sold, kind of an outlier day from a sales, and you can see kind of how market price spiked. in unison with
Yeah.
that sales velocity
Yeah.
day. So it was kind of at its low of 32 and then shot back up to not a huge movement, only $1 movement really.
Market price is 32.27. The lowest listed that you could get today is 34.98. The big dog out of this set is the Umbreon 161. Currently, the market price on it is $822, and the cheapest you can buy in English is $939.
And the last 3 days, sales velocity, you've had 7 sold, 6 sold, and 9 sold. So when you're talking a 3-month average of 1 sale a day, and you've had 17 sales in 3 days,
So
there are kind of probably some buyouts happening.
Yep. So 94 have sold in the last 3 months. That's simple math. That's 1 a day. And we've sold 18 in the last 3 days. So there's some significant movement there that's going to cause that price to rise. And then the last one is out of Paldean Fates. I think this is Travis's favorite
This
card.
is the meme one.
Yep. This is meme. This is the Palafin illustration rare out of Paldean Fates, number 225.
We just go where the data tells us, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what this one's going up. It's not going up that much. I don't know who in their right mind would want to collect this one, but
market price is $1.23, and the cheapest you can buy is $1.22. So it's there.
yeah. But for the most part, all the other cards right now in the hobby, like we talked last week, and as I kicked the show off, it is going down. 90% of the cards that we track, lowest listing is lower. We had some theories. I had some big theories. Not to get too in the political spectrum thing. I kind of saw the market starting to go backwards. At the end of the government shutdown, you had a lot of employees that didn't get paychecks for a long time.
I actually brought this up on our first podcast, and it's from you. It's not my own thought. When the knucklehead had to sell Bitcoin, and Bitcoin dropped below $100,000, is almost the exact same time that we saw some panic selling. And my hypothesis at that time was some investors, some speculators, saw Bitcoin declining in value, needed to have some capital, and got rid of what they thought was a rather liquid investment, which was Pokemon cards, and that caused increased inventory in the marketplace. And then the time frame needing to be as soon as possible, you saw prices drop a little bit on some higher value stuff.
Where I kind of landed right now with it, though, is I think it's a combination of 3 or 4 factors that probably all in isolation have a small percentage effect, but together they actually move the needle. Government shutdown starting it off. You got 2 million plus government employees go 5-6 weeks on furlough. Yes, they all got back pay, but any of those collectors, let's say that 2% of government employees collect Pokemon and they're trying to liquidate stuff to get money back. Holidays, people trying to liquidate to raise some holiday cash. We saw anecdotally, we saw a huge spike of trade-ins here in the shop in December. Our staff was just going gangbusters crazy on trade-ins. We probably had, a 50% spike in trade-ins on people coming in, trading. And so people it makes sense. You're trying to raise money for holiday. One Piece is kind of spiked. Yeah. It's a good segue into one of our next segments.
Yeah, One Piece sealed product has gone just absolutely bonkers within the last definite calendar month, but the last set, OP14, something C7, Azure 7 Cs.
I think.
Yes, Azure 7 Cs. Yeah, you can obviously tell that I'm only 270 episodes into One Piece. I'm not there yet. But I do know that Mihawk is the big dog in this one, and so I do appreciate the set. That being said, I think booster boxes are $270. It was released on Friday.
Yeah.
MSRP for a booster box is somewhere between $130 to $140, just like a box of Pokemon. And so here we are through the release weekend. We're still seeing high premiums on that product. Sleeve packs are ridiculous. Even the set that was before OP13, I think sleeve packs are almost $12 or $13, whereas MSRP is $6.
So One Piece has got a little bit of hype. I think that's probably something to do with it. And then there's another factor here, which we probably could correlate this pretty well, but I saw this maybe like around when Prismatic dropped. We had a huge core, just even locally here in the shop, we had a lot of customers that made the switch from English to Japanese. Yeah. And the reason why was just cost per pack. People just like ripping packs. And if you can buy a Japanese pack equivalent for half the cost of an English pack, you start doing that, right? But in terms of, are you a collector of Japanese, yes or no? And I think what happens is that you start ripping Japanese pack because it's the price point that you want to open packs. And then your collection starts to grow. And then you didn't set out to be a Japanese collector, but now you're buying Japanese tomorrow. If you have the choice, I'm buying English or Japanese, you start buying Japanese. And so I think there's a percentage of collectors that made the transition from English to Japanese. There was one more variable I had, so that was 4.
Yep.
The other variable was, I made this argument. Somebody said, Travis, no, I don't think this is kind of right. I still think this has something to do with it. There is a huge amount of conventions and trade shows all throughout the country.
Yeah.
Collecticon is the big one, of course. But there's a lot of local pop-up trade shows. And generally speaking, in the holidays, those trade shows don't have as high of a frequency. Yeah. And so imagine the thousands of vendors out there that they make their money on finding arbitrage in the moment. These are vendors that they can't buy from distributors. They're not making their money on flipping sealed product. They're making their money on being extremely efficient, knowing when to buy low and sell high, doing deals and trades. And so that's some sort of market pressure. And when you have those collectors and vendors that need to start relying on listing inventory on marketplaces like TCG, it influxes the supply of product in the moment. So I think really between those 5 things, it's probably combining to have this negative pressure that we have right now, which is causing 95% of all the major cards to be lower, downward in pressure, lower market prices. There's probably some more variables, and unfortunately, we're never going to know exactly what the silver bullet is. This is just intuition, being so ingrained in the hobby that I think that's kind of what's happening and doing it.
We were talking a little bit about One Piece. They just had a set release on Friday. Sealed product is going high. Next set for English Japanese is Ascended Heroes. It drops January 30th. Is that right, Jack?
Yes.
Okay, January 30th, we're going to get 2 products, a double pack and a triple pack. So current TCG player market values for these are ridiculous, in my opinion. The 2 packs are currently $43-ish per. I guess Larry's is $43.60 and Erica's is $47, which puts you at almost $25 a pack. And that's the only product that you can get your hands on until February 20th outside of Tech Stickers. Now, Tech Stickers is a promo and a sticker pack, 3 packs, and the average price per pack there is right around $12. They're both fluctuating at $36. So Larry's 2-pack and Erica's Tangela, Erica's 2-pack are right around $22, $23, $24 a pack. That seems...
When this got released, I had said to a couple people here in the shop, when I saw the release schedule for this set, and I saw that 2 packs and 3 packs were the first ones to come out, I knew that the market price was going to be through the moon, because the biggest amount of time that people are most hype about the set is in the week that it comes out, the couple weeks that it comes out. And for you to only be able to be a collector where you're securing product, where you can't buy ETBs, you can't buy booster boxes, you have to buy them on these 2 packs and 3 packs. Historically, those products are the products that have the shorter print runs. And so, like when we get allocations, if I had to say on a normal set release, we get 20,000 booster packs. I'm just normalizing it on booster packs. How many booster packs do we get? Probably 5% of the packs that we get come from 3 packs. Blisters or 2 packs. So the lowest, the product type, 2 packs and 3 packs, which account for statistically the lowest volume of booster packs, when those products are the ones that come out first. And what lead time do we have until ETBs? About 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Yeah, we have 3-week lead time. There's not going to be enough of that product out there for 3 whole weeks. So what's going to happen is you're going to have all the hyped and crazed people that really want to open the set that are really going to be able... They're going to justify in their minds paying $20 a pack. Yeah. Because it's either that or you wait 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of torn back and forth on our side because, I mean, we are a card shop and, you know, it is one of those things where it's generally good. I'm not just talking profitability. I'm going to get tortured in the comments on this. It's good for the hobby when price is high. I say that. I've always said that. It creates hype. It creates demand. It creates buzz. It creates influencers. It creates everybody wanting to open. If the market price for Pokemon was $3 a pack and nobody cared about it, you would not get as many people into the hobby. And so so it's good on that standpoint. It is weird though that Pokemon would release that, and it kind of segues into the news I got from the distributors.
Yeah.
I got confirmation that for Perfect Order, which we'll talk about Perfect Order in a bit, but booster boxes are going to be short printed, and they're going to make up for it supposedly by printing more sleeved packs and more booster bundles.
Now, pause for a second. Sleeve packs have gone down as a percentage.
Big time.
Yeah. So
Surging Sparks was the last set that had a ample amount of sleeve cases. Every set after Surging Sparks, the number of sleeve cases that we were able to get went down 95%.
let's just contextualize, just using the example that you did. If we get 20,000 packs, usually pre-Surging Sparks, probably 20% of those were coming from sleeve packs.
Yeah, I mean, we were getting 40, 50 cases.
Yeah.
And there's 144 packs in the case. If you follow us on stream, I mean, Jack, you could probably go get archival footage of the streamers having to rip sleeve cases
after sleeve
to
after sleeve.
take the pack. We haven't done that in ever because, I mean,
We
on
get
a
two-
set, I get 2, 3, 4 cases total.
Yeah.
Max.
Yep.
And
So
Yeah.
the percentage of packs pre-Surging Sparks was 20. Now it is fighting with 3-pack blisters for the amount of packs it contributes to our total allocation. And so if they switch that back, that's interesting. For me, from an operational standpoint, I feel like it's more operationally intensive to have sleeve packs than it is to have booster packs. Or booster boxes. I feel booster boxes operationally are the easiest way to move a large amount of packs.
I have a theory, though, as to why that is.
Okay, I have one too. I think I would go as far as to say I'm so confident it's not a theory. I know why they did it. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So being a brick and mortar card shop, probably 70% of our revenue and income comes from expansion set releases. That might be, maybe it's like 65%, that might be high. So when expansion set drops 4 or 5 times a year, us being able to cycle what we get from distributors and sell it is vastly important. Allocations, ever since Prismatic came out, has been harder and harder and harder to come by. It's not just us. Ask any brick and mortar card shop, you're going to hear the same thing. And what's happened is that distributors, doesn't matter who you are, we work with 5 distributors, they're starting to hold product back. They're charging above MSRP for product. It's one of a whole separate topic for another day. Know what's happening. I think Pokemon has realized that distributors are doing this. And so the easiest thing for a distributor, if you're a major distributor and you're trying to not do B2B sales, B2B sales is business to business. You sell in volume from, 80 cases of whatever to 1 shipment meat. They've switched to B2C sales, business to consumer. Distributors have switched from, we're holding product back, we're going to create pseudonames, we're going to create sellers that sell on all the market prices, and we're actually not going to sell to brick and mortar card shops anymore. We're going to actually sell this directly to the consumer, and we're going to fulfill 1,000 booster boxes. Well, I think, and maybe I'm giving Pokemon too much credit, but that's bad for the hobby, right? When distributors hold back product, when they sell it on their own. And so I think part of the reason why booster boxes have been short printed is because it is harder for a distributor to sell volume of products directly to the consumer because you're selling it based off of a 2-pack and a 3-pack. It's creating a lot more volume that has to be shipped. The effort to ship out a 2-pack and make a margin on it, even though it's a high price, it changes the logistics of the fulfillment operation. When you're a distributor and you can sell 1,000 booster boxes, 1,000 packages, to sell that same volume, you've now got to sell 10,000 orders of 2-packs and 3-packs. And so a theory that I have, which is 100%, I think just kind of naturally makes sense, is that it's kind of like whack-a-mole. There's some latency in Pokemon. It takes 4 or 5 months for like print and strategy to catch up with market conditions. And I think they've been seeing this happening and they don't like it. And one of the ways for them to combat it without ruining everything is saying, you know what, we're not gonna sell so many booster boxes because we know those are the heavily scalped. We know those are the things that people are holding back. Product's not making it to card shops like we want it to. Let's print the same volume of packs. Let's just change it to where it's going to 2-packs and 3-packs. That's going to prevent distributors from being able to play this direct-to-consumer model, which then means more product actually makes it to card shops. That's just my theory. It's my off-the-call tinfoil hat. I think has something to do with it.
So here's what's actually happening. Pokemon doesn't give a damn about local card shops. All they care about is their big box distributors. You can't sell booster boxes at Walmart and Target and Best Buy. You can only sell sleeve packs, 3-packs, and 2-packs. ETBs and other products. And so them shifting their product output to reduce booster boxes means they're catering more to be able to provide more product to their big box. This is what Pokemon is doing to your LCSs. Because the other part of that too, your hypothesis fits inside of this in an umbrella fashion. It will also increase the market value of a booster box even higher because there will be less of them. So if a booster box accounted for 35% of our total allocation, and now it accounts for 3%, all of a sudden we're less likely to be able to sell them on release day. We may just crack them and sell the individual booster packs so that means there's less out there. Also, one of the things that I didn't know about this hobby until I jumped in is there are a significant amount of people who are collectors that will not collect master sets, that will not collect individual cards. They will collect one ETB of every set and one booster box of every set. And so those people no longer will have access to be able to go get a booster box on release weekend at a relatively normal price because there will be less of them. And of course they're going to pay for it because they have every booster box going back to Sun and Moon base set, and you're not going to stop now. And so whether it's $164.99 or it's $320, you got to have it because it's a part of your collection.
It's kind of like this. It's kind of like that same way with Pokemon Center ETBs, right?
Yeah.
Like once they hit the secondary market, if you miss the drop,
you're in trouble.
but you have one of every other set.
Yeah.
You're just like, man, I've got to get this Shrouded Fable Pokemon Center ETB, even though I don't care about the set at all.
Yep.
Because you're that kind of collector, you know.
Yep. We talked about this at the beginning of the year. We talked about it in episode 1. Prime cards since October have increased in value. We'll show a couple graphics of these in post. Gengar's up 20% from 300 to 365. The Mew Prime is up 43% from 117 to 168. Espeon Prime is up from 96 to 146, which is 53%. And the Umbreon Prime is up 60% from 200 to 325. I think there's, outside of promo cards, I think there's 30-ish of them. 35 is the number that sticks in my head of these specific Prime cards. You can go to pkmn.gg and actually search for the tag Prime. You'll be able to see it. The price increase on these cards in the last 3 months is ridiculous. I'm not saying it's sustained. I'm not saying it's going to revert. I'm saying that this is one of those specialty sets that came from an environment where packs were $3 a piece and nobody really cared about it, and the hobby kind of was on a downward cycle. And inside of that, not many people recognized those cards at the time, but in hindsight, you can see all these different cards from the 4 or 5 sets, and they're cool. They are up front shots of each of the Pokemon. There is a starburst or shine on their eye, and they are relatively cheap to collect all of them now versus, like, I don't know, the Shinings out of Neo. But that is something that we had looked at a couple weeks ago.
And the reason for this is because they're re-releasing primes?
No, I don't know. My guess was this is another. So Pokemon every so often does a subset inside of their eras. Amazing Rares, Radiance, the Shinings.
Well, they just brought Mega back, the Mega cards.
The Mega Attack Rares would be another one where if you wanted to collect all of them, you could, but it's over multiple sets. Well, Primes was something that was done, 15 years ago.
Is it preemptive to maybe that happening again, or?
I think just like Gold Stars, I think people are looking for the next thing in the market to speculate on, and post Gold Stars, Primes is the next little subset that exists inside of the trading card game, inside of the collector's universe. That's my theory. I don't have anything perfect there. Let's talk real quick on the meta. We want to talk about rotation next week. Rotation is a very great conversation to have because generally everything that performed well in Toronto will be losing a majority of the cards. But very quickly, the finals in Toronto was Gardevoir versus Raging Bolt, ? There were quite a bit of Dragapult there too. Goldango didn't make The finals, Goldango was 1 in 5. I think it was 20+%. Gardevoir was right there behind it with its 2 different variants. But Trav, I know you're not much into the trading card game at a high level, but Jack, were you surprised to see Raging Bolt in the finals?
Yes, and happy. Because I love Raging Bolt, man. It's one of my favorite decks to play. But yeah, I was just happy to see anything other than Guardy and Dragapult in the finals, because it's just been nothing but Guardy and Dragapult. And to see Guardy rotate is, whoo, it's going to be a happy day, boys.
So we'll talk about rotation in the future. There's quite a bit that's going to happen there. Okay, Trav, let's talk about Perfect Order. So small set, 80 cards-ish in the main set list. The Japanese variant, which is called Nile Zero, has all of the base cards have been released, so you can look through on Pokebeach.com to check out the different cards and how they impact the current game, or whether you think they're cool or they have your set.
So real quick, what I find really weird, and I just want to touch on it real fast, is we are 3 days from January 23rd, which is when Nihil Zero releases
in Japan,
and we have seen zero. We've seen literally a Clefairy illustration rare. We've seen a Talonflame illustration rare, and an Esper illustration rare. Just today, which isn't confirmed, they showed the Meowth EX SIR, but we haven't seen a Mega Zygarde SIR. And the reason I bring this up is because every other time a set has dropped from Japan, about 2 weeks before the set
we
releases,
get the whole list.
we can see the main series set as well as all of the special illustration rares. That's not the case this time. It's the first time, I think.
Yeah, in recent memory, it's interesting that a set is about to release, and we don't know what the main hit is in the set, which is interesting. And what's great is you're forming an opinion on the current information, and ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That is the information.
Although it is kind of weird that we've got this blimp. What's the blimp?
That's Zygarde, Mega Zygarde. Perfect.
It's like a cannon over his head.
That's a blimp.
That's what they came up with.
That reminds me of Battlefield 5 Conquest mode with the giant blimps in the sky, and you're doing the run on Battlefield.
Oh my god!
I love it.
You gotta put that up.
I love it.
That's,
okay, one of the surprises we have for the end, Trav, if you could pick any 5 products from Scarlet and Violet to present to put into a time capsule and open in 10 years.
Let's limit.
It doesn't have to be 5.
Let's do 2.
2.
We'll do 2. Any 2 products from the start of Scarlet Violet base to now, today.
Am I qualifying question? Am I basing it based off of what the market price is right now today to what it's going to get? Or am I basing it based off of what it was if I could have bought it when it came out?
I want you to base it on anything you want. Whether it's I love this set, I think the value is going to increase, I think this is a good investment. I just really have a favorite Mewtwo SIR in this set that I would love to have.
Yes.
10 years, like whatever you want to cling to and attach to. Any 2
The
products.
Paldean Adventure Chest.
I like the promo.
No, I'm just joking on that. I would say probably a Paldea Evolved booster box and a Destined Rivals booster box.
Yeah, so I agree with you on that.
I mean, just those 2 are probably the ones that are going to be the heavy movers. My collection is based off of value, so I want to collect things because.
So
if I want the card, I'm going to collect the card. I have a slab collection,
so
but if I'm talking sealed,
you're going to rule out any UPCs. Like, you don't think Prismatic UPC, Mega Charizard?
I mean, if I could have got Pokemon Center 151, I mean, if we're talking, I'm intentionally keeping Pokemon Center out of it because from an investor standpoint, give me every Pokemon Center 151 ETB all day long. Turn $60 into $1,000. You're not going to get a 20x investment like that. Even booster boxes, Paldea Evolved booster box is selling for about 500 right now. MSRP 160, you're up 3x. You have a 3x return on your money in a year and a half. That outperforms the S&P 500 by like 1,000%. I mean, it's just a huge, huge windfall. So anything Pokemon Center is definitely time capsule from straight value. If we're not talking money and we're just talking like what it is that I like the Team Rocket GameStop exclusive UPC. I thought that was pretty cool. Although I didn't like how they did the same card that just has a stamp. That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Prismatic UPC.
Yeah. I would pick the 151 Ultra Premium Collection. That's what I would pick.
Yeah.
And then I would pick, it's not Scarlet and Violet, but it was released in that era. Does that count? That's my qualifying question.
No,
It does not count. Okay.
that does not count. It has to be Scarlet Violet.
Yep, no problem.
Error.
I would choose then a booster box of Destined Rival.
You know what's
That's
interesting
a
here?
good call. Yeah, I think that's a great call.
With
I'm surprised neither of you said Mega Charizard X UPC.
I feel like on the way in today, I saw that Big Box Target had more of them for sale. I don't remember.
Well, today, yeah.
But I don't remember. Like 151, we've already seen the limited printing. They didn't have a ton of it, in my opinion. But the Mega Charizard, it feels like they've had 3 waves of it already.
The one thing that I do feel like Pokemon has changed more recently, and I guess it's not more recently, but when Tag Team came out, you had like 6 different promo tins and boxes that had really cool promos in it.
Yeah.
Scarlet and Violet era, you only had really 2. It was the Shrouded Fable, Greninja, and Kingdra. And then you had the Moltres and some of the UPCs that had them. But if you look back on Sword and Shield era, we just sold a set this weekend, the Jolteon, Flareon, Vaporeon, VMAX boxes.
Yeah.
You've had these moments of really cool box items that you just want to collect. Even going back to like XY era, you had the Evolutions box that had the 210 Evolution packs, the Mythical Squishy collection.
Or the like the Darkrai with the pin and the Darkrai XY promos. All those XY promos were full art.
Generations, all the Mythical collection pins, right? We got one right now on the shelf. Maybe it's sold. So you had some sealed product that you could get that had a really cool promo in it. Right now, I don't really think there's been a lot of sealed product stuff that's came out with Scarlet and Violet that's had really banger chase cards that you really want.
Correct. We've talked about this. One of the things that they've done is they've taken the current base EX card and then they've thrown the stamp on it from the set.
Yeah, that's not enough.
Like a Latias EX box has a Latias EX in it, but it's got the Surging Spark stamp on it.
But you do have you've got the Victini illustration rare. That was a promo.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of those.
Yeah.
I put 80 of those up.
I wonder if they went away with the XY full art promos in their mind has been changed to what the illustration rare promos are in ETBs. If that's the trade-off that they've done.
It just seems really lazy to me. It's like when the booster boxes came out and they started doing enhanced, instead of giving a special card, it's just a reprint with a stamp. I mean, yeah, it's kind of cool. The Galarian Gallery GameStop exclusive, just a reprint with a stamp.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you're telling me that you can't come up with a unique card specifically for that? Like if you look at the PSA 10 pricing for collectors of the tag team stuff, the Pikachu and Zekrom and the Reshiram and Charizard and the Mewtwo and Mew, and you could go on. There's these awesome artworks that now, from a collector standpoint, people are loving them. The price has gone to the moon. They're highly coveted, and it's because they were in these tins. You could only get them from the tin, and yeah, there might be a huge amount of those, but they're just not doing. I really wish that they would go back to do that. For that reason, that's why I just pick a booster box. I mean, I'm not really picking. There's nothing really about Scarlet and Violet from like a cool product standpoint that's really capturing me. Even like Shining Legends, Hidden Fates. You guys had these super premium collections that had like the Rayquaza figurine. I guess the Charizard collection is kind of cool.
They did one with Lucario.
I think. I mean, since we have it here, I'm just going to grab it. I think this one, I bought some of these to hold on to aftermarket because I thought 10 years from now, people will look back at this.
Yep.
The price right now on these aren't very great. There's not really good promos in these, but it has 10 packs. It's got this nice Charizard figure. It's the first time we've seen this form factor of packaging. I thought these were going to probably age pretty well. So it's just like, 10 years from now, this is probably going to be a pretty good thing to hold on to.
And what if instead of Cosmo Hollow cards that already existed, you had a full art Mander, a full art Charmeleon, and a full art Charizard EX that were promo specific, like they did with Tag Team? That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
You do that, and all of a sudden,
you get 3 cards in there. It's just like, give us a Charmander SIR, put that in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or an illustration rare.
Right.
It would make it a lot more desirable. I mean, just think of it this way. They already had to go out of their way to print this card.
Yes.
And they already had to go out of their way to make it a Cosmo Hollow.
Yep. Same with the other.
Same with this one. This one's just a straight reprint.
Yeah. Does it even have the...
No, it's a promo.
Oh, okay.
It's a promo stamp.
So they mirrored the image, right? They made it go from the right instead of the left, and the left
But
from
the
the right.
argument for like, hey, we can't print that many number of variations, or I don't understand the logic behind it. It's like, is there an argument as to why this thing would not be better to buy as an exclusive collection if you put better promos in here?
Yeah.
I don't think there's one argument that somebody can make that would say, no, that wouldn't make it better.
Yeah.
So net, it's better. Now, there is probably a print cost difference. The only argument logically I can think of is it might be 2 cents to manufacture that one card, whereas like a textured card it probably takes 3 times longer on the print press to do the texture milling of that card, and the cost for that card's probably longer. Takes more.
Yeah, it's probably just min-maxing your operational output as to changing the bit and adjusting the tooling and all that sort of stuff. But without actually knowing the data, it's hard to come to a reason as to why, because once again, we're not in a consumer feedback loop with Pokemon, and we're not in the room for the conversations. But it seems to make sense that when you would make a product that is named Pokemon Super Premium Collection or Pokemon Premium Collection, that you would have a special card inside of that to celebrate that specific Pokemon. They did a Melmetal EX Premium Collection box.
Because that's a tag team. Melmetal and Lucario has the special tag team card.
And Melmetal is, because I'm a nerd and I played Pokemon Go, and you could only get Melmetal through a thing there. I like that Pokemon, right? And so when I saw the box, I was like, cool. No, it's just a Reg EX with a stamp on it.
Even more recently, the Lucario figurine collection that we got, the Venusaur EX collection, we have some here. They come out with these collection boxes, but it just has like a normal double rare promo.
Yeah, and it's got the jumbo size card, which we'll get a shot in here of what we do with our jumbo size cards, which is pretty cool because we have room and our wives can't tell us what to do at work as opposed to at home. Jack, what do you do with your jumbo cards? Exactly. You don't have any.
So I had one of those Celebrations little binders.
Yep.
That actually holds like the jumbo cards,
Yep.
which they only made one of those products ever.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen another binder. I thought this is perfect for just where I can put these and slot them. I don't know. There's not a lot to do with it. I think they're definitely more geared for kids and such. But I will get a shot up of the wall that we have full of jumbo cards. It's actually really sick.
So we've got, how many of these type of products did they come out? We could probably get the exact count, post edit.
Dude, Black Friday was huge. They did a ton of them.
But I just know, I didn't mean this form factor. Every 3 months they come out with a new EX box.
Yeah.
We probably have had 12 different EX boxes. They had this exact same form factor packaging during Sword and Shield. There were V boxes. And so over the last 5 years, I'm going to guess you've had probably 24 different EX or V boxes. Every single one of these should have their own specialty promo that's a illustration rare or SIR equivalent. Stop doing the normal double X. No, nobody cares about that card. Nobody's going to collect that.
Let me hold on.
Part of that's too because those are playable cards, and it makes it so people can get their hands on them, like guaranteed, like Kangaskhan.
How many people are? But I mean, there's so. I mean, you open packs. There's so many of these in the wild, and you can go buy that card for $1.
Yeah. So
I just think that's the thought behind it.
Let me rip them off. Right, all the cards that we could have had a promo for that is different than the regular EX. Incineroar EX and Torterra EX box. Greninja EX and Kingdra EX box. Snorlax and Blissey box. Now we get into the singles. Black Kira, Melmetal, Archaludon, Reshiram, Blaziken, Latias, Lugia, Venusaur and Blastoise, Mimikyu and Arcanine. Or Alcremie, sorry, Mimikyu and Alcremie. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. There were 12 boxes released at the end of November, EX boxes, on top of the other stuff that we didn't get access to from our distributor, right? That are all the exact same thing, where it is the base Reg EX card that is not very different from the one that you pull in packs. And
I guess to Travis's point, even if it is a playable, you could still make it an alternate art, like illustration rare playable, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, they did it with some of the League Battle decks when you had the Stevens.
Yes, they did.
The first one was Stevens. I forget what's the
Marnie?
card.
Belden.
Marnie. Yeah. So those ones, from a collectability standpoint, both of those cards did well. The Marnie one did really well, and then they did it again with the Gengar
and Meloetta.
No, Hunter.
Haunter out of the Gengar
yeah.
deck, and then the Diancie deck.
So they started. They kind of started to say, and it was like, oh, okay, good. They're going back to putting these special promos in. That's great. And guess what happened? People wanted those League Battle decks.
Yeah.
You had to go and buy that. And anytime a League Battle deck comes out, I mean, it's one of the few products that doesn't sell out at distributors. You have to go, and you can still buy it today. Distributors end up doing bundles with them that says, hey, you got to buy these to get this.
Yeah, but then you had people fighting over League Battle decks, and those are meant for the players.
Yeah, so there's got to be a good balance there.
Yeah, because you
right?
can't, like, because the minute that somebody's just wanting a deck so their kid can learn how to play and they can't.
I'm not a player, Jack. I want to have.
Well, you know, I mean,
But-
somebody's
No,
got to stand up for the players.
Jack is 100. That's fair.
But remember, Pokemon wants to have the ability for their products to fly off the shelves, elbows out, right? They don't want that, but they don't want their product to sit. Trav went and grabbed this. Listen, man, we'll run a special on these at any given moment. Not only is it a poor product from a playability standpoint, I mean, it's got Scramble Switch as the A spec. It's not a good deck.
Why have a League Battle deck like this that we have tournaments every single week and people laugh? Your players that play the game look at this and they say,
This is a joke.
This is garbage. You want me to play this?
Yeah, what a joke
Why
that.
would you even make that?
We got a Dragapult one. That one was good. We got a not a Mega. We got a Charizard
one.
We got a Charizard
That's the
EX.
first time that they actually built a meta deck.
Yeah.
And it sold like in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, it was sold out at distro. I even had players saying, hey, this deck's coming out, Travis. Order as many of these as you can. Like, they knew that, hey, because they're paying $14 for a normal EX Charizard.
Yep.
And at the time, I thought, well, that's great. Pokemon's actually printing enough of the cards so that players don't have to pay $14 for a Charizard card and need 4 of them in their deck.
Yeah. Once again, but we can come back to this. It was one of these that you got one in every 3 packs or whatever. You got an EX in one in every 3 packs. And so there are plenty of them out there for them to run it. But Mewtwo, don't get me wrong, Mewtwo's a cool Pokemon, right? It's fun to have a deck based on him, Jack. Don't get mad at me.
Dude, I am so just distraught at how dirty they did my boy Mewtwo. They screwed up his playability. They screwed up his SIR. And then they had another
What's wrong with the
SIR in Ascended Heroes where they screwed it up again. They just cannot get Mewtwo right from like an SIR standpoint.
What's wrong with the SIR?
Okay, if I say it, you guys will never unsee it.
I'm going to say it. Yeah,
They made Mewtwo look like a freaking bowling pin.
Oh, got it.
All right?
Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
And it just is not what I think a lot of people who are Mewtwo fans can agree with me on this sentiment. It's not what us Mewtwo fans wanted from a Mewtwo SIR. We love Crown Zenith Mewtwo alt art. That is wicked.
Yeah.
With the Kamehameha wave and the
Fighting
attack.
Charizard. Yeah.
But like, dude, the second we start talking about like bowling pin shaped Mewtwo from his feet up.
What's the other one I saw? Oh, he looks like he's in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yeah, so like, man, I don't know. I really I expected more.
You need to get.
I can't put my thumb on exactly what I wanted from the Mewtwo SIR, but it wasn't what we got.
Once again, not a hypothesis. This is fact. Jack wanted Akira Agawa to be the artist for the Mewtwo.
Dude, I wanted it so bad, and I thought I had a shot at it when they announced there was another Mewtwo SIR in Ascended Heroes, but
Well, it's $1,150 in a PSA 10.
oh, I know.
So I like the card.
Well, yeah.
I like the card. I love it.
Well, it's hard to pull. Like that's the thing.
I know.
But it's just when you look at it though, you got to admit, both you have to admit to me, when that card was announced and revealed, neither of you were like, "Oh, this is it. This is the Moonbreon."
I was actually surprised that that card actually had such a demand and price that it did.
Dude, me too.
Yeah.
It still does.
All right, we're wrapping up, boys.
Anyway, that's it. That's all we got to say. Stay tuned. Next week, we're going to talk about rotation. Trav's going to be really excited. It's his favorite topic. Kraus out.